The Great Marathon. About a year ago, I found evidence that my wife had, at least, an emotional affair with a boyfriend that dumped her when she was 17. We have been married 30 years, and though I could sense that something was up with her, I was blindsided. I did not sleep for 3 days, didn't eat for 2. I didn't work, said I was sick. I was sick. After sitting around like a blob for a couple of days, I began to gather information. I never looked at her phone or her computer, but I did. Found both to be password protected. Took about a day to figure out the password for both. Found more evidence. Love letters, hopes and dreams, over 100 phone calls and about 100 texts to a guy that dumped her before we ever met. I looked in her laptop bag and found a hotel receipt, 4 hours in the middle of the day. I confronted her with the receipt. She said that she had met somebody and things had gotten out of hand, but that she had got the room to meet him and backed out at the last minute. She stated that she could not do that to me and apologized. I felt she was sincere. I accepted it, but I told her that people don't just go from saying hello to being in a hotel room. She said that she knew it was wrong and that I deserved better from her. I told her that I knew who she was seeing and that I had every intention of flooding his Facebook with the information. She begged me not to. I didn't. About a week later, I found another hotel receipt. I confronted her again. Both receipts were almost a year old. She said that she had not had any physical relationship with her old boyfriend and that he was engaged and was not interested in her that way. She then admitted to meeting someone at a seminar and having a fling. I was crushed. I guess that I went into shock because I felt nothing. No anger, no fear, nothing. I went into a shell and have not come out of it. Later, we talked and came to the conclusion that we did love each other and were going to try to make things work. I remained vigilant and checked her phone and computer every so often. She no longer had contact with the old boyfriend. I later found out through snooping her email that the old BF is a decent guy who did not want a relationship with my wife and he had basically turned her down. I confronted her with this information and she said that his breaking up with her at 17 had ripped her soul and that she had to know if it could have worked. She said that she knew it couldn't have and she is over it, but said that it had been an issue for her for 35 years and she had to resolve it. Okay, seemed logical. 3 weeks ago, she advised me that she needed space and that she had rented an apartment a couple of counties away. This was a trial separation and that she would still give her share for the mortgage and upkeep of our home. She said that she needed time to figure herself out and to figure out her relationship with me. She said that either one of our 2 sons could stay with her if they wanted and that I was welcome there at any time, but she needed space and needed to be alone for a while. She said that she had no intention of seeing anyone romantically and didn't want me to either. We agreed that at the end of 6 months, we would either divorce or reconcile. I am figuring we will divorce. As we talked about the separation, I told her that she would have to be 100% truthful with me and cut off all contact with the old boyfriend or anyone else. No secrecy, and that I would have to verify everything she told me. She then dropped a bombshell on me. The person she had been seeing was a woman. She said that she met this woman at a seminar and that she was very flattered and that the other woman just would not quit. She said that she found out very quickly that she was not a lesbian. Still, the other woman did not relent and talked her into seeing her one more time. My wife said that she broke it off and has not been in contact with her since. I was dumbfounded and I still am. I should add that we are both therapists. Her job has better pay, mine has insurance. We both have periods of time in session that we don't talk about. Both of our jobs are mobile, meaning we visit homes and centers. Specialized, but it also means that counseling is pretty much out of the question as we each have working relationships with anyone we might see. But, still, I am not doing well with this. I gave everything I had. I gave up my hobbies and most of my friends for her. I have told couples all the words before and I am having trouble hearing them myself. I have to have the full truth and she must be transparent and open. I need the time of the separation to decide what I am going to do. I would rather do anything in the world than counsel couples. It takes a lot out of you because of the pain and lies. I haven't done it in years. I do love my wife and I enjoy living with her. But this garbage cannot continue. It would end me. I have been to my physician and I have been checked for STD. I even had a blood tox profile to see if I was being poisoned. I wasn't. I was just paranoid. I have also talked to an attorney and the belief is that she can't really hurt me financially, only emotionally. Both of our boys are adult and one is out of college. They are both aware of the separation. Both are in the therapy field. The way I see it is that this thing is probably done. I will probably divorce her and get the records sealed. Waiting out a separation would benefit me and I can act on it when it suits me. It's been 6 months since my wife and I separated, and it's become clear to me that reconciliation is not an option. I gave her the space she asked for, but she never reached out to me once during that time. She didn't even try to make amends or apologize for what she did. I couldn't keep living in limbo, so I made the difficult decision to file for divorce. I'm angry. I'm angry at her for betraying me and lying to me for so long. I'm angry at myself for not seeing the signs earlier. And I'm angry at the situation we find ourselves in. We were married for 30 years, and she threw it all away for a fantasy that was never going to work. We had our first meeting with our lawyers last week, and it was a disaster. She came in with a list of demands, including wanting the majority of our assets and full custody of our children. She's always been a good mother, but I'm not willing to give up my rights as a father. I couldn't believe the audacity she had after everything she did. It's going to be a long, drawn-out process, and I'm dreading every minute of it. We've built a life together, and now we're tearing it all apart. I never thought this would be my reality, but here I am. I've lost all trust in her, and I can't even stand to look at her. I've cut off all communication with her except for what is necessary for the divorce proceedings. I know that eventually, I'll have to see her again when it comes to dividing our assets, but until then, I'm going to focus on rebuilding my life without her. I'm hurt and angry, but I'm also determined. I won't let her actions define me, and I won't let her ruin my life. It's time to move on and start fresh. It won't be easy, but I'm ready for the challenge. I comment, put that behind you and keep looking forward. It won't be easy, but it must be done, and you got the power. Story 2. Married for nearly 14 years. The last year has been absolute hell. When my wife's brother passed unexpectedly, she changed a great deal. She pulled away from me. She detached. She routinely lies now about where she's been, who she's been with, what she's been doing. I know this because I've caught her in some real whoppers. She never acted like this before. I truly believed we were happy as a couple. I know I was. Key word, was. The past year has been horrific. When I joined this forum last night, I read a few posts from people who did some checking on their wives. I guess you could call it snooping. In some cases, they found the smoking gun. In other cases, they weren't sure. I'm in the second category. I'm not sure. My wife was once my very best friend. We confided in each other about everything. We traded notes 20 or 30 times a day. Now, I don't hear from her at all. She's just stopped all communication with me. I found this email thread between her and a gentleman I know. There were several of them, to be honest. They were not in her email inbox. They were not in the trash section, which she routinely deletes. Nope. She forgot to clean out one other section of her email, the sent file. This is where I found them, the exchanges. They will email each other 10 to 12 times in the space of 4 hours. The male is a reporter. My wife is an information officer. So, yes, they deal with each other professionally. Even I have to deal with this guy from time to time in my course of work. What gets me is the number of exchanges between the two. This wasn't the only one. There are probably 10 that I've discovered so far, and each exchange is 10 to 12 messages each. Again, there's no smoking gun except that his personal life is a wreck, which can be caused by infidelity. And the one line that she wrote back to him, which concerns me a great deal, whatever, whenever, I'm there. I keep going back to that line. It gets me. It really strikes at the gut. If she's seeing this guy, it would explain a lot of her behavior in the past year. This is my second marriage. I met my second wife in the process of pulling away from my first one. She wasn't the cause of the problems in my first marriage, but she certainly accelerated the breakup. And I know, from experience, that once you step out on a spouse and do the deed, it's over. The love dies. You can't get it back. You don't want it back. You're ready to move on. So, yeah, I know what this could mean. If it means that, honestly, what do I want? I want my wife back. But, if my suspicions are correct and she stepped out on me, I realize that is never going to happen. I'm old enough to know this isn't some Disney movie with a happy ending. Where does one purchase a VAR? She doesn't run off and have conversations in a private room. But her car is a different story. I want evidence that this happening or not happening. If it is happening, then I need to take steps to look out for number 1. I've been seeing a marriage counselor for about the past 6 months. She wanted me to bring my wife for one of the sessions, and I did just that. The counselor put it to her straight, do you want this marriage to continue? Are you willing to make it work? Her answer was yes to both. But I don't put a lot of stock in that. I also said the same thing to a marriage counselor when I was with my first wife. I told him the same thing that my wife said. Only later, after my wife had left the room, did I tell him the truth. The answer was no, because there was someone else in the picture. That someone else is my current wife. Perhaps this is just karma coming back to bite me in the keister. I put someone else through hell. Karma has a way of paying you back, in spades. In my case, I was so broken up when my mom passed, I reached out to my first wife. I was 27. Mom was the last connection I had with any type of home. My father passed when I was just a child. I knew, deep down, that I should not have married her, but she offered warmth, happiness, and a home that I could be a part of. I really didn't think much about the medication part, nor how she had been hospitalized twice for schizophrenia. She was fine. But I didn't know that in California, you can quit the medication at any time. Nobody can force a mentally unstable person to continue to take their daily pill. I wasn't made aware of this until after she quit taking her meds, which was 3 years after we tied the knot. Suddenly, the woman I loved vanished and was replaced by a raving lunatic that scared the crap out of me. This is no joke. When I found that butcher knife she was keeping underneath the bed, I don't think I ever stayed another night with her. That and the waking up in the dead of night screaming that there was a snake in the bed or someone was in the house, there wasn't, was enough to drive me out. It was at that point when my current wife walked into my life. My marriage was disintegrating and she offered a path I could follow out. But the bonding would wait and wait and wait until the divorce papers were filed. The ex-wife and I hadn't seen each other for 6 months. Is it still cheating? Technically, I suppose. But it's not quite what you might think. There are no other email chains that I've discovered that are as damning as the one I first pasted. The best I can tell is that these email chains with this other guy started last October. There are about 10 to 12 total, each with about 6 or 7 responses between the two. To be dang honest, most of it is work-related. They do not work together. They do not work for the same company. The wife is an information officer. Her email buddy is a reporter. By the way, both of us are former reporters. This is what former reporters do when they get old. They become information officers for companies, school districts, government, etc. I have never seen a brother and sister who were as close as my wife and her brother. They had something really special going on there. She supported her brother without question. Her brother returned the favor. She did not like her brother's wife, and still doesn't. In response, after the brother passed, his wife cut off all communication with her brother's children, which are my wife's godchildren. So, my wife not only lost her brother last March, she also lost all contact with her godchildren. Add to that the untimely ending of her parents, and I really do think she just went off the edge. That's what the counselor thinks, but I also think she's pulling away. She also lost a bunch of weight and adopted a yoga routine 2 months ago. My wife is 46 and looks like she's 36. She's a former TV reporter. I'm not going to lie to you. She's eye candy. You don't become a TV reporter if you're not eye candy. So, that's where it stands. She actually came out and did a little gardening today, which was nice. We love to garden together. Absolutely loved it. But she's slowly pulled away from that activity as well. She spends a lot of time now with a new friend she made after her brother passed. They are similar in age and experience. The friend is married, but to a man who is 30 years her senior. They are Vino partners. They are yoga partners. I don't interfere, but I know this new friend has far too much influence over her. If she were to tell her to jump off a cliff, she just might. But, so far nothing like this has happened. They do spend a great amount of time together though. What I'm about to tell you is the truth and nothing but the truth. It's been a non-physical marriage for about the past 3 to 4 years. Not her fault, mine. Not totally my fault, but medical issues beyond my control. Slowly, through the years, I began to lose my ability to get up of any type. The doctor prescribed Viagra, but that just made me feel like I was having a heart attack. Plus, the resulting experience was anything but satisfying. I would satisfy my wife, but I got absolutely nothing out of it. There was just no feeling there. So, bonding today is whatever I can do for her. But I feel embarrassed, less than a man. I mean, if you cannot get or sustain up, what kind of life is that? Pretty soon, it started to affect my self-confidence. I just didn't want to go through the motions anymore. My wife is as attractive as she's ever been. I continue to be attracted to her. But, at the same time, I don't act on that attraction anymore. Worse yet, when some surgeries on my back and Achilles tendons from exercise injuries, it brought an end to working out and losing weight. I still eat healthy. I still walk around the neighborhood for daily exercise. But the days of hitting the weight room hard are pretty much over for me. I just can't go through the pain of another back surgery for spinal stenosis again. I've always been insecure. Always. I was when I met her. Could not believe this hot young thing was interested in me. Counted my lucky damn stars. Felt the same damn way when we got married. Why is this gorgeous lady, 6 years my junior, agreeing to this? Felt so damn lucky. Did I forget to mention she is wealthy? Not millions rich, but we have a comfortable life together. Can you begin to see why I thought, and to this damn day, believe I was lucky? That insecurity goes way back, long before I met her. It would take a lifetime's worth of therapy to deal with it. I don't show it on the surface. You are seeing it here because I've laid it out in detail for you. I'm not hiding anything. But I don't allow that insecurity to interfere with the relationship. There are no rules. There is no you must be home at a certain time, or you may not see this person or that person. I don't tell her how lucky I feel either, or how can you stand to be with someone like me. No, I'm not like that. The insecurity remains well hidden. Saw the marriage therapist tonight. Don't know if she was impressed by the VAR idea and didn't even want to read the email. So, I read the questionable part to her. She wants me to confront her. Now, get it out in the open. Get an answer one way or another. I think she's just tired of seeing me. The email exchange between her and this guy continued tonight. 8 different messages to one another. Jesus. Totally innocent, but geez. Why the hell is she emailing this clown back and forth? I fought. I lost. She's been sleeping with the guy since last December and probably earlier than that. How do I know? She finally admitted it last night. Came out and came clean. Then told me that she loved him, had no intention of stopping the relationship and would rather be with him than with me. Not sure what to do next. But I have contacted a divorce attorney. I was going to move, but why put stress on the dog like that? She's the one who cheated. Make sure the dog has a backyard to play in and send the wife packing. That's the way I'm looking at it right now. She's responsible for this mess. Let her clean it up in her own way, but not in my house and not under my nose. I could also inform his superiors of what he's doing. They fire employees on the spot who do this. I'm the product of a broken home. I know what it feels like. I'm not going there. There are no children and she makes more money than I do. If there's any alimony, I'm getting it. I still have not taken action to tell the wife anything. I've been told not to do it. It doesn't accomplish anything. It only serves to hurt her. She's going to find out at some point anyway and may have already found out. It would not help her to find out any more quickly than she is going to find out. Besides, like me, she strongly suspects something isn't right. Men, take heed. If your wife asks you permission to take yoga classes, she is really asking your permission to meet with her lover and said yoga classes and have slept with said lover in the yoga facility shower room. My 2 cents. It's now been 1 week since she left. Other than a couple of texts, I have not heard word boo from her. Not sure if I want to. She is avoiding me. I don't blame her. She destroyed a 14-year marriage. Worse yet, she's not only sleeping with this other guy, but she's also on meds. Her mother, father, and brother, her rocks in this universe, are gone. They've all passed within the past 10 years. She's alone now. I'm telling you, this is not my wife. I never would have married a woman like this. The woman I married was a good, strong Catholic girl. Someone who routinely lectured me that good Catholic girls don't play around. The problem is that the passing of her brother, who was 3 years younger than she was, which also meant losing all contact with her godchildren, sent her over a proverbial cliff. The woman who climbed back up is nothing like the lady that went over. I have to bring myself to the fact that she's gone. The woman I married is gone. She's been replaced by someone who is very ugly. I am not attracted to her in the slightest. But, at the same time, I also loved her deeply. I so wanted to help her get through this. But it's time to move on now. She may have moved out just 7 days ago, but I've been crying for the past 6 months. I knew I'd lost her. I knew I lost her a long time ago. It's just that I kept trying to get her attention. Look at me. I'm standing on my head. I did everything I could to distract her and bring her back. Problem was, she was already gone. I don't hate her. I don't know if I ever will. But I am very, very sad. Perhaps this is just stage 1 of many stages still yet to come. I've never been an overly religious guy. My wife always wanted me to convert to Catholicism, but I've got religious family members in my background who served as Presbyterian ministers. I'm Irish, but for some reason I'm the only Irish guy that I know of who Catholic isn't. The family was Protestant and still is Protestant. And since I have a grandfather and a few others who served as ministers and were influential people in their lifetimes, I felt it important to stick with my Protestant upbringing. There are a lot of people who dislike the Catholic Church or all organized religion for the reasons that you state, and those feelings are fine, but I don't share them. I certainly don't blame the Church or the Catholic religion for what my wife has done. That would be anger misdirected. No, I blame my wife. Religion did not do this to her. She did it to herself, and just ripped my heart out in the process. I do want to thank everyone for their kind words. I'm telling you, all of you, it's helped a great deal to come back here and read the posts that everyone has left for me. I appreciate each and every one of them, even if you do not agree with my course of actions. It's good to hear opinions from a lot of different people. It helps to give me a strength that I did not have before. Yeah, it's a sad story, but I'm going to get over this and come out stronger on the other side. You haven't heard the last from me yet. I met my current wife when I was still married, yes, but I never cheated on her. The marriage was already falling apart when the new woman walked into the picture. Long story, but never marry a lady who needs psychiatric medication to stay stable. I'll leave it at that. Current wife would not get anywhere near a bedroom with me until the first marriage was over. She wouldn't make any promises either. She also moved to a new city. So, there was no affair. There was interest, but no promises made. After my divorce was final, I wound up moving a year later to the city she was in, and at that point we started dating. Let's see, it's now been a little over 2 months since she left. She took the action of hiring a lawyer and serving me with divorce papers last weekend because I didn't call the mediator she wanted to use fast enough. So, I called the mediator and she's backed off with the attorney. The first phone call with the mediator will take place tomorrow. Soon, I will learn what her demands are going to be, but she hinted previously that she wanted an equal split. But, now that her lover has been fired from his job, something she blames me for, perhaps her goals have changed. She may be trying to hurt me now. I don't know. I'll suppose I'll find out soon. I know she's moved to an apartment complex on the other side of town. She was forced to give the mediator another phone number when she confided that her cell phone has been acting a bit quirky lately. As soon as I got that number, I tracked her down in 10 minutes. I don't know the apartment number and I don't want to know. But I do know this puts her closer to the guy she's been cheating on me with. At first, I thought their relationship had ended. Now I'm not so sure. Who knows? I've stopped caring, to be brutally honest. I need to think about myself now. I've pretty much written off all hope that she'll come back. I've accepted the fact that she's left. The shock of losing her is almost gone now, replaced with the realization that she's gone. She's not coming back and she wants a quick end to the marriage. The marriage counselor I've been seeing tells me this is typical with married women who cheat. I trust her because she's been doing this for decades now and has pretty much seen it all. She strongly believes that, at some point, my wife is going to wise up and realize she's made a boneheaded decision and want to work on restoring the marriage. And she tells me in a lot of cases there is reconciliation. In some cases, the guy has already moved on. And in some cases, the divorce just happens. You just can't tell. So, we'll see. But it's going to take a lot of time from what she told me, probably a year or maybe even more. She might even wind up marrying her lover, which will prove to be a tremendous mistake. His children will hate her. I know this from experience. She will be my Clara, the woman my father left my mother for when I was 3. I hated Clara. I saw Clara as the woman who broke up mommy and daddy. Children don't see in gray colors. They see only black and white. So, if that does happen, my soon-to-be ex is in for a big surprise because those kids are around 8 or 9 years old. They will not understand. Based upon the advice I received here, I did try to call the other wife. I left a message, told her my name, told her my wife's name. I asked if we could talk. I left my phone number. She never called me back. She either doesn't want to talk, or is a wife who is allowing her husband to step out and sow some oats, in the hopes that he will not dump her or the children. Point being, I just don't know. But I did try to contact her. 3 of the 4 homes we owned are already up for sale. The people renting these places are in for a big shock. I'm in the 4th and last home, the home we share together. Staying there gets more depressing with every single day that passes. Some people have told me to keep the place for myself, but I can't do that. That was the home we shared together. We built that garden together. The roses bushes that adorn the backyard were planted in the memory of her mother. The raised planter beds we built for gardening purposes were built by me and her father, using her father's design. Every spot in that home is a reminder of her and what I've lost. So, that home goes bye-bye. The problem is it needs some upgrade work before we can put it on the market, and guess who gets stuck with that project? I'm only doing this because I will need the money from the sale of this home to purchase another place. This home is very unique and will bring a price of close to $500,000 once it's been upgraded. But it needs about $10K worth of work to get it to that sale condition. I work in a unique job where the position actually ends every 6 to 8 years. It's politics and politicians have term limits. I've managed to transition to other offices for the past 18 years, but now the thought of moving on to a different city is starting to sound appealing to me. I'm free, there are no children, I have marketable skills and I do a good job at what I do. So, I'm starting to look at positions in areas that are still close by, but are actually in different cities. You know what they say about change, right? Change is scary, but change is almost always good for you in the long run. I'll be honest, I still miss her a great deal. I don't know if I could ever take her back after what she's done, but we did have a nice life together, up until she started cheating on me. I will take a lot of happy memories from this, but also feel a sorrow over the way it turned out. My wife blames me for her lover getting fired, claims I called his place of employment and demanded to have him fired. Yeah, right, like I have that kind of power, I don't. Fact is, they made no effort to hide anything. The two were appearing together at industry functions attended by people we knew for years and knew we were married. These people talk for a living. Weeks after she left, I received a couple of tips to check out a Facebook page for a club group that serves the industry we are in together. This club hosts guest speakers every month and they hire a professional photographer to take photos of guest speakers and guests in attendance. Guess who was there? At more than one monthly function. More like 6. There's probably about 20 to 25 photos of them together. In at least one of them, they are holding hands. Above a table where some people I know and I've worked with in the past were seated. I will admit, after she left, I was shocked and distraught. I cried on any shoulder that was offered. Quite a few were. I can only surmise, guess, that the rumors got back to his place of employment. And what he did is a big no-no in our line of work. This is a cardinal rule that is not to be broken. So, yeah, when word got out, it probably cost him his job. The night she left she told me that she admired his line work and was attracted to him for that. Well, now she can be attracted to his uber small unemployment assistance checks, provided they are still together. I don't know if they are. I don't stalk. I tried once to contact this cheating piece of crap wife. I knew where she worked. She had a voicemail function at her place of employment. That's where I left my message. There is no way anyone could have erased that message, other than herself. I know she got it. In her line of work, medical messages are important. So, I know she got the message I left. She just chose not to return it. I can only guess at why. Perhaps she wasn't ready to hear the truth. Perhaps she already knew, and is the type of wife that allows her husband to sow his wild oats. I don't know. I just know that I did try to contact her. She chose not to return my call. I am not going to push it any further than that. Just know that I did make the attempt. The sun is shining here today. It's warm too. Warmer than it has been for a long time. When I first moved into this crappy little rental, the skies opened up and cried right along with me. It rained incessantly for months on end. 27 inches of rain so far in a year where the normal number is 20 or below. The snowpack in the Sierra Nevada is twice its normal size. There was so much pressure on Northern California waterways. The second largest dam in California nearly collapsed this winter. Thank God it didn't. I spent this cold, dark and rainy period packing up a 2,500 square foot house that my wife and I once lived in. I had to do it all, even her stuff. She simply would not come and get it. And since she has far more money than I do, an inheritance that I can't touch nor would I want to, she could just allow that house to stay empty for years. I couldn't afford that. So, in December, after the job ended, I went to a big box store, bought about 30 medium-sized boxes, took them to the home we once shared and started packing. By the time I was finished, I had filled up 28 boxes for her, one for me and one left over. At least she came over to get the boxes. I nearly had to rent a storage facility. By January, the packing was complete and that's when the rehab started. I ripped out all the carpet stained with years of cat urine, sealed the floors to get rid of the stink and put in new distressed laminate flooring. Next came the paint job. Every single room. Mushroom bisque on the walls, flat white on the ceiling, semi-gloss white on the trim. Then some cleaning to get rid of the crap left over from a major reconstruction job. Next came the small repairs. A door had to be replaced. New screens for the screen door. Reattach a downspout. Get rid of the trash in the backyard. Fix broken electrical switches and replace blown ballasts. It seemed like 1,000,001 things. It took a while and a lot of contractors, but this work is finally wrapping up now. You were talking about a project that I could throw myself into, Bob. That was it. If I finish when I expect, the house should be ready for the market next week. Just in time too, as prices are just shooting out of sight in California. This house could possibly sell for 3 times the amount we paid for it. I'm keeping my fingers crossed. In the meantime, I've been passed over for a number of jobs that I was qualified for. I got the idea that my old employer really didn't want me back, so I've expanded my search to anything, anywhere. But some recent developments with the old employer are leading me back to where I started. I will find out soon. It will be a year this May since she left. I don't mind telling you it's been the worst year of my life, but the sun is shining now. Things are starting to point up again. I don't think I will find love again. I won't even look for it. I'm 53 years old. I have no desire to open myself up to this kind of hurt again. It's the first day of fall. Been a while since I posted. Some things have happened, some haven't. The good news, I found my job. Perfect job for me. I mean, it's right down my alley. In fact, I can't believe they're paying me to do this. And paying me handsomely. I'm still separated. The cheating wife called a halt to divorce proceedings last November and never resumed. I don't ask why. I don't even talk to her. Why? What would that accomplish? Last I heard, she's living with some woman. Fine by me. I hope she's happy. But I know she's not. I've dated a couple of times, but my heart really hasn't been into it. One day, soon I hope, I'll know because she, whomever she is, will sit down next to me. I won't notice her at first. I never have. But eventually she will grow on me like a bad rash. I am lonely. That much is for sure. My life is all about work, work and work, in that order. I only go home to have a few shots of Fireball and fall asleep on the couch with the TV on. At 5:30 a.m. the alarm goes off and it's the start of another day. It's a routine. A nice routine. At least I get out of the house. I share an office with an employee that I hired. She's a great person. All of 24 years old. Just married. Smart as a whip. I have given up all hope of reconciling. My brother continues to talk with her like nothing ever happened. Terrible thing for a brother to do, don't you think? I don't talk to him anymore. He made a choice. He's going to live with that choice. She's supposedly going to write out a check for $30,000 for rental houses that I managed on her behalf during our marriage. But that's really a fat chance, in my opinion. I'll never see that money. I'm certainly not counting on it. Besides, I earned enough from the home we once shared together. I have a nice down payment for a new home, should that day ever come. I know there will come a day when she comes crawling back to me. Nobody ever loved her unconditionally the way I did. Nobody ever will. But she will find a closed door when she finally figures out what she's lost. She made her decision. Now she'll have to live with it. You know, it's funny when you think about it. I have talked with many older women, single and in their 60s, who pulled the same crap that my wife did when they were in their 40s. They go through some drama, cheat on their husbands and then file for divorce. They think that life will be better for them somehow. But it's not. It never was. All of these ladies now regret terribly what they did. They know they will spend the rest of their lives alone and will end up alone. It's funny that with each and every woman, the men they dumped all found love again and remarried. I survived the worst year of my life. My comment, keep doing whatever makes you happy. You'll find love again, I guarantee it. You'll find it when you least expect it.